Hello and welcome to the mykeadelic channel. I'm your host, Mike, aka mykeadelic. This is a little bit of a different video today, so yeah, here's the little bumper. Let's get to my delirious 3 a.m. rant. See ya on the outro bumper. It's 3 o'clock, almost 3 o'clock in the morning, but I'm not asleep. I'm kind of tired. One of those nights. Documenting it because I'm overthinking things right now, and when I overthink things I don't do things. So instead of not doing something, I'm doing something. And so I was overthinking things to make a video about, and one of them is just a little update, because I don't like to announce things until I've already done things, and stuff like the skinamarink review, which I recorded, that for my 72 subscribers, of which I'm sure 0 of are like waiting patiently for. But I think I'm gonna kind of change that into a wider ranging video, not just talking about skinamarink, but kind of talking about the state of the industry. And talking about the state of the industry is so impersonal that I also have to talk about myself as well and my artistic journey, how that all ties together, because that's how I understand everything. So that's what this video is. It's not just gonna be me rambling. I was defecating, and I had the idea to just start documenting little chunkaroos, and I'll compile the best bits and make some sense of it, and it will be more effective than if I plug in the microphone, set up the camera, sit down and try to talk and try to chop through that. I'd rather just capture the live ideas rather than trying to write it down, sift through it later, and skip the best bits. So yes, this is my kind of precursor. So I'm not going to talk about everything, because maybe I should just go to sleep, because it is like 3 o'clock. So it's like, why would I, it's like, I'm like, it's 3 o'clock, but I'm not tired, so I should film a video right now? Look at my eyes, like, ugh, so stupid. All right, well, this has been fun. I'm glad I documented myself. Maybe I'll go to sleep now. I was gonna start talking about, like, media and stuff. I'm like, are you kidding me? It's gonna be in a state of delirium. Back with another check-in, a morning, technically afternoon check-in. It's 1 o'clock. My eyes are still looking baggy and saggy as ever, but got a couple things done already, and I'm getting a couple things done now, like cleaning my body, and I'll be off to the races for the day. Fucking sleep schedule is fucked. We're fixing that. But be talking about dreams, be talking about skinamarink a little bit, start talking about the Scream series even a little bit, which I watched. So yes, I'll get into all that very soon. Just gotta get my day started, y'all. I'm sorry. Ooh, that's a great angle. Good job, Mike. I'm now in the car, obviously driving the car, because that's how cars work, looking at the road in order to not die. Just wanted to continue my video. I'm just trying something new, you know. I feel like doing these little bits in different areas. It might end up being visually compelling. Did I like fuck myself up shaving? I don't know. Anyways, little rash, little dryness, little redness and irritation. Need a little Cetaphil or CeraVe or something. Anyways, let me give you a little scoop. So I on the note of dreams and dream movies and dream logic, this is something, sorry if the AC's loud or whatever, but I'm gonna sweat, so. Dreams and movies. This is something that has been something I've felt for a very long time. I remember first going to film school. This is before I even discovered the works of David Lynch, who has since become one of my favorite directors. And I remember being in film school and thinking the classic trope of like, it was all a dream in a movie. It's such a, you don't do that just the same way as you don't start a movie with your character waking up and having voiceover and things like this. And yet, unlike the voiceover and the waking up thing, that is like the cliche of like baby's first student film or whatever, the dream thing is something that is a lot deeper. The similarities between dreams and film are plentiful, right? Both use symbolism and imagery to convey stories or messages or help us deal with situations in a way that we wouldn't be able to deal with directly. So we're using these stories and these symbols and these metaphors to understand these things that would otherwise be overwhelming. A great example of this is something like Scream. I just recently was watching the Scream TV series, which is not terribly highly acclaimed, but it did have some really good use. Specifically in the beginning of the second season, they were really specifically talking about like mental health and dreams and the parallels between dreams and movies, and the idea of using horror. And this is like later too, this ties into one of the characters' arcs, the character Noah, of like kind of using horror to deflect a fear of death or make death into a puzzle you can solve, and kind of get a grip on these concepts that are overwhelming for us to handle as human beings. And so through art, through films, through music, through these different things, we can understand these concepts or kind of get come to terms with them in a way that allows us to live our life in a more balanced and prepared and comfortable manner, or a more well-rounded manner. If you watch enough horror movies, and you specifically watch enough Scream movies, you'll know if you watch enough horror movies, you're probably better at surviving a horror movie. Not that real life horrific situations are horror movies, but there is definitely a level of preparedness and awareness that if you kind of know the rules, or you know, if you've watched enough horror movies, you go, why are you running up the stairs? Go to the front door. It's like, go to the front door. Then if you had some situation, you wouldn't run up the stairs. Like, it's helpful. Okay, hang on, I'm getting a call. So anyways, I don't know where I left off, but something about dreams and movies and David Lynch and the Scream series, season 2 beginning, talking about things and having dreams and dream sequences and comparing films and dreams and da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. It's good, it's healthy, we love it. So all that being said, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Mike, aka mykeadelic, and I'm a fucking loser here in Florida without a job, trying to find a way to make ends meet and make a little income while simultaneously devoting the majority of my time and energy to creative endeavors. How's that going for me so far? Skating by the skin of my teeth, hair on my chin, and short and curlies, as the man said. Let's cut to the chase. Dreams, movies, check. We got that. I'm Mike, check. The reason I'm talking about all of this is a little bit of a top secret project that I will disclose more information on in the future, but all you need to know is there will be a longer form narrative or two of varying levels of experimental and conventional film language coming soon, if that made any grammatical sense. Longer form narratives, as in over an hour. One of them is going to be very experimental, and one of them is going to be a dreamy, kind of like more conventional plot. But let's not talk about that. We'll keep those surprises for later. Also, band-wise, got some new tunes been working on. I think there's going to be 2 albums. There was going to be 1 album, but I had this kind of concept album that kind of ties a little bit into some of these longer form projects. So it's all coming together, folks. That's all you need to know as far as mykeadelic goes. Financially, we're in dire straits and trying to find some sort of income. But creatively, I am just absolutely thriving. I won't be if I can't pay my rent and stuff. But thus far, I've been just scrounging by, just barely. So I have high hopes, and my delusionally optimistic brain is telling me that by the time I finish these projects, maybe I can turn them into some sort of financial sustenance for my creative future. But until then, Publix? Movie theater? I don't know. Some sort of medial job for a college graduate seems to be likely. Anyways, back to creative things. 2 albums. One is going to be kind of like this, I guess, slowcore, kind of shoegazy, lower temp kind of vibey one. I already had 1 track, The Afterlife. That's kind of like your little hint as to the concept and kind of the whole vibe. I already have 2 more tracks in a similar vein that are coming along. So that's album number 1. The other album is gonna be more, that one's kind of like an afterlife, kind of like death concept album, life after death kind of ideas, a little bit of like a Beetlejuice sort of situation, just that world, right, of like living in this like afterworld, or like Monkey Bone. You know, we like to get a little conceptual, and it's a little darker than kind of the usual stuff, but that's kind of going to be balanced with the other album, which is going to be like concerned with more earthly stuff, be a little more bluesy, maybe a little jazzy, a little dancey, maybe, I don't know, a little strokesy even. It's going to be a kind of mixed bag, like a gumboot soup, Oddments, King Giz sort of situation. Yeah, that'll be fun. 2 albums that will probably be coming out in 2023. One more of a mixed bag, one more of a pretty concentrated sound, like that slowcore, shoegazy kind of vibe, indie kind of goodness. Dreamy. It's gonna be a dreamy year for mykeadelic. So yes, that's why I was talking dreams. It's all related, you know, because it's not only artistic dreams, it's the vibe of dreams, right? For me, my art is like a physical manifestation of my life goals, missions, and dreams, right? So dreaminess in art is almost an essential. It's like an essential element for me. It is like the fantastical. It's that balance of fantastical with a sort of scientific, analytical. It's like the perfect balance of sort of like science and art or whatever, because dreams are both abstract and concrete. They mean something, and they could mean nothing. They could be non sequiturs, but they could still make sense. So love it. That's what it's all about for me. Like a song, you know, it's like an album is like a dream, where they say we dream for like a couple minutes at a time. So each track, each song, or each scene in a movie is like a different dream making up this larger night of sleep. That all comes together to create this tapestry of deeper meaning that each individual track, each individual scene, or each individual dream could not do on its own. Okay, that's enough dream movie talk. I'm getting a little crazy, but I like it. Somebody stop me. On the note of dreams and dream movies, I have been doing some research. Maybe I'll do a more formal video kind of focusing really on this, because there's still a few I haven't seen, but kind of great examples of dream logic and exploring the subconscious through film. Obviously, the works of David Lynch are fantastic, namely Eraserhead, Mulholland Drive, Inland Empire. Blue Velvet even is a little half and half, but they all really have this kind of dream logic. Really, Mulholland Drive is the dreamiest, and I guess Inland Empire too, and Twin Peaks, of course. Okay, let's not turn this into a David Lynch video. What else? Of course, Deren, super early, really amazing. Messages in the Afternoons, the classic short. I've been needing to do a deep dive on her, but her style is just undeniable and really well researched and ties into all this lore and stuff. So it really hits you in a certain way, because it's like, as humans, we kind of know some of the meanings of these symbols, even if we don't know that we know them. It's amazing. This also ties into kind of skinamarink and stuff, and Kyle Edward Ball, he said he was influenced by David Lynch. Obviously that movie is a bit more of a nightmare than a dream, but nonetheless, and this kind of ties in, okay, so this is why I wanted to make a video about this. Like, all this stuff really ties together, even if it sounds like I'm rambling incohesively. It all ties together with this dreamy feeling and this idea of like a kind of meditative state, or like this sort of hypnotic situation that happens. Going back to the music side, something like shoegaze. The genre shoegaze is, if you don't know what shoegaze is, it's like a rock, it's like a subgenre of rock that's kind of post-punk meets psychedelic music. It's heavy, it's generally lower tempo, with like these walls of distorted guitars and kind of vague, like these kind of meshes of sounds that with like droning like droning textures, and lots of like reverb or backwards reverb, and certain effects and compression and layers of vocals and guitars and things to give this dreamy feeling. And if you listen to an album like Loveless by My Bloody Valentine, that album, I was recently looking over it as far as like the sequencing, and the structure of it is remarkable because it starts with Only Shallow, which is the classic like kind of rock single, but right after Only Shallow it goes into Loomer, which is not even 3 minutes, all build. It's dun 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 dun, the drums never drop. Then it has Touched, which is like this super short instrumental guy. Then it goes to Who Here Knows When, which again is like all build because it doesn't have a bass line. It's a slowed down explosion. And then finally you get to like When You Sleep. Like 5 tracks, I'm literally getting goosebumps thinking about it. 5 tracks in, and it's like you've been put in this hypnotic state because of all this tension and all this building and building and building and building, that when you're finally hitting this like, ding, bang, 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 you know, it just like hits you so good because you're like in this mind state. It's like this meditative mind state after 10 minutes that if you just started with Only Shallow and then When You Sleep, it wouldn't hit. I only said it wouldn't hit. You gotta build and build and build and build, and then eventually when you get to Soon, you're popping off and having your little shoegaze dance party because you've come full circle. You've come through this like meditative state of this loud music and stuff like that. Something like Skinamarink is a totally similar situation, where because this movie is very slow and very meditative, it puts you in a certain mind state. You just watch it, you're watching the distortion and the thing, and it's like hypnotizing you. It's putting you in the state of mind, and you're like almost falling asleep. You're like, did I fall asleep? Is this the movie? Am I dreaming? What's happening? It fucks with you like in a deep psychological level. And that kind of experience, kind of questioning what is reality, what is a dream, or in a more grounded or cliche version, and like you've seen this in a million things, but the most recent thing I saw this was in Scream Season 3. There's a great little scare that's revealed to be in a dream. It goes on a bit long, but the beginning of it is like, whoo! And I love that. You can almost tell it's a dream because the color is a little off and stuff. When you're dreaming, you think it's real. The Sopranos handles dream sequences fantastically too. It's like it has this level of realism where it's like your consciousness can't tell the difference between the real and the fake. And so that's why when you wake up, it's like you're like shook, you're like still like reeling sometimes from these dreams because they feel so real, and the emotions and the feelings and the things that we're learning from them are real, even though maybe the physical experience didn't actually happen. And same with the movies. The stories are real, the adrenaline is real, the tension that builds, this is all real. The endorphins and things going off in your brain, these are all really happening. Someone's got a loud little Mazda. But yeah, these things are all really happening. It's good. Yeah, that just about covers the dream segment. And this might be its own video, just talking about dreams and my creative goals of the year. My nose is a little congested. Okay, I guess maybe I'll just edit this up. Tomorrow. Next thing I think I'm going to talk about is the state of the industry, which is honestly what I thought this video was going to be, but I ended up having so much to say about dreams and stuff. Oh yeah, and I didn't even list, sorry, on the note of dreams, I didn't even list dream movies. Oh yeah, I did. I talked about David Lynch a little. What else? The Cell is a good one. I still need to see Altered States. I have a list on Letterboxd. Follow me on Letterboxd and let me know if you have any really good dream movies. Dreamscape too, I still haven't seen. But I've seen a lot of them. Oh, Belle de Jour. Oh, amazing.
Yeah, there's a lot of really great dream movies out there. Okay, that's all for now. Next time we'll be talking about the state of the industry, talking about stuff like Skinamarink and how independent releases have been changing the landscape for YouTubers and independent artists. We'll be talking about the Oscars and the politics of that, maybe a little bit. Be talking about the Scream series because there's that new one coming out, and kind of like maybe comparing franchises. I might do a franchise study, talk about maybe individual videos, talking about Marvel, talking about Scream, talking about different franchises. It's interesting. It's like I kind of am so anti like corporation and franchise and things, and I love all the independent stuff. But what I was realizing today is that the franchises are really the best way to talk about the experimental stuff. And by that I mean, if I can talk about something like Scream and then use the meta stuff and certain stuff, you know, obviously Scream is like the ultimate because it's A, just like a consistently entertaining and solid franchise, but B, it has so much metatextual depth that you can use it as like a guide to understand slashers. And what's really cool about something like Scream is even when it started, I'm pretty sure it was like independent. It's like Wes Craven's obviously a big guy, but horror franchises are really the ultimate gateway, more so than even Marvel. Even we get to Marvel, we got Jon Favreau, he did Swingers. The independent cinema roots of these franchises are huge. So it all comes together. So that's I think what we're going to be exploring next time, the state of the industry and the connections between independent experimental cinema and the mainstream cinema, the Oscars and all that stuff, because it's so often pushed away, like, or pushed like apart, where there's like kind of like the Marvel and then there's the good stuff, or there's the franchise stuff and the good stuff. And it's like, I like Scream, and that's a franchise. What's the last Marvel movie I liked? I don't know, but I don't hate all of them. Keep an open mind, folks. Catch you out there on the internet.
All right, well, this has been music, film, dreams, and personal things. I hope you enjoyed this little exploration into my unorganized mind, and I'll be back with another media-based video soon enough. It won't be a month wait. In the meantime, enjoy some tunes. Those will be coming on the regs. Catch you on the flip side. I'm trying to make the media ones a little more like worth it. I don't want to just crank them out. I want to release it if I have something to say. So I hope you like what I have to say. Let me know what you think in the comments. Like, comment, subscribe, blah, 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 share, like, comment, subscribe, all that stuff. Okay, thanks for watching the mykeadelic channel. I've been mykeadelic. I will continue to be mykeadelic in the future. Thanks for watching. I love ya. Peace on earth. Stop the wars. Bye.